Hey there, coffee lovers. Welcome to another deep dive.
Ooh, coffee.
You know it.
Sounds delicious.
Today we're diving into the world of coffee.
Oh, okay.
And trust me,
No,
it's a lot more exciting than you might think.
I'm ready.
So we've got a couple of sources to help us along the way.
Okay.
We've got Wikipedia's History of Coffee article and an excerpt from the historyofcoffee.pdf.
Yeah.
And we're not just going to hit the highlights.
Oh, good.
We're going to go full deep dive
Okay.
into the twists and turns and maybe even some scandals
Ooh, I love scandals.
that took coffee from just a goat herder's discovery to, basically the fuel of modern life.
It's true. I mean, could you imagine getting through the day without it?
I can't.
No.
So, like any good adventure, our story starts with a legend.
Okay.
Have you heard of Kaldi, the Ethiopian goat herder, and his, super energetic goats?
Maybe, yeah.
Yeah, it's in both of our sources.
Oh,
It's like
sure.
the classic coffee origin story.
Gotcha.
So picture this.
Okay.
You're Kaldi just out there herding your goats, right?
All right.
And suddenly they're bouncing off the walls after eating these bright red berries.
Oh, that's interesting.
Right.
Yeah.
Most people would probably be like, whoa, stay away from those berries.
Yeah, probably.
But not Kaldi.
Nope.
He was curious.
What did he do?
He tried the berries himself.
Oh, wow.
And bam,
what happened?
he discovered coffee.
Whoa.
Just think about it.
Okay.
One person's curiosity
Mm-hmm.
leads to this global phenomenon.
That is crazy when you think about it that way.
I know, right? So he shares his discovery with some monks at a nearby monastery.
Okay.
And this is where it gets interesting.
Oh.
According to the legend, the monks weren't too keen on these berries at first.
Really?
Yeah, they thought they were, demonic or something and threw them into the fire.
Oh, no.
Can you imagine that aroma, though?
Ooh, smoky.
Yeah, like that accidental roast.
Yeah.
Might have been the world's first cup of coffee.
Wow. From skepticism to, the most popular drink. That's crazy.
I know. So from rejected berries to, the global beverage we know and love.
Totally.
And this journey, it doesn't stay in Ethiopia for long.
Okay.
Both of our sources tell us that coffee makes its way across to the Arabian Peninsula,
Okay.
to Yemen specifically.
Interesting.
And by the 15th century, the port of Mocha becomes the center of the coffee trade.
So not just a drink, but a commodity.
Exactly. But Mocha wasn't just a trading hub.
What else?
This is where coffee gets a spiritual dimension.
Ooh, tell me more.
So Sufi monasteries in Yemen, they start using coffee to stay alert during their nighttime prayers.
Okay.
Kind of like how we use it
Yeah.
to power through late night work or study sessions.
I feel that.
I know, right?
So coffee has always been about focus,
Yeah.
even way back then.
But this spiritual connection, it gets even more interesting when you consider the Kave Kane.
Kave kani.
Yeah, it's
What is
imagine coffee houses, right?
Oh.
But they're bustling with music and debate.
Like a social gathering spot?
Yes, and storytelling,
So cool.
all fueled by coffee.
That sounds awesome.
I know, right? Vibrant centers of cultural exchange.
I wonder what they would think of our modern coffee shops.
Right.
Like
It's
Starbucks.
a totally different vibe.
Yeah.
And get this, even back then, coffee was causing controversy.
No way. Really?
Yeah, Islamic scholars were divided on whether coffee was halal or not.
Allowed.
Yeah,
Wow, I guess some things never change.
I know, right? It's a good reminder that even something as simple as a drink can become a flashpoint for debate,
Yeah.
especially when it's new and its effects aren't fully understood.
All the new food trends today,
Yeah.
sparking debates.
Right.
It's like history repeating itself, just one cup at a time.
Exactly.
All right.
Okay, so coffee's made its mark on Ethiopia, taken root in Yemen, and now it's about to embark on its European adventure.
Ooh, Europe.
We're talking the 16th century, and things are about to get really interesting.
I can't wait.
So European travelers returning from the Near East, right?
Mm-hmm.
They were buzzing with stories about this exotic new drink.
So, coffee influencers.
Basically,
You know that.
these tales sparked curiosity and this
Yeah.
desire to experience coffee firsthand.
Makes sense.
And according to our sources, the first European coffee house popped up in Venice in 1645.
Venice. How romantic.
Right.
Yeah.
Although Wikipedia does mention that Malta actually had coffee houses even earlier.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because of Turkish slaves
Oh, wow.
who introduced it during their time on the island.
Interesting.
See, history always has these little surprises.
I know. It's so cool.
But let's get back to Venice
Okay.
and this coffee craze that was about to sweep Europe.
I'm ready.
We're not just talking about a new beverage here. Coffee sparked, like, a social revolution.
Whoa.
Think about it.
Right.
A penny got you a cup of coffee.
That's a steal.
Right.
Yeah.
And access to the most stimulating conversations of the day.
That sounds like a great deal.
Right.
Yeah.
These coffee houses, they were nicknamed penny universities.
Oh, I like that.
I know, right?
Yeah.
It's no exaggeration to say that they fueled the Enlightenment.
Seriously.
Yeah, imagine figures like Isaac Newton, Samuel Johnson, and Voltaire
Wow, big names.
all gathered in a coffee house,
Yeah.
fueled by caffeine,
Mm-hmm.
debating everything under the sun.
I wish I could have been a fly on the wall.
Right!
Yeah.
All that brilliant thinking swirling around over steaming cups of coffee.
Wow. But not everyone was a fan of this new drink, right?
You're right.
Yeah.
We have this great anecdote from Wikipedia about Pope Clement VIII.
Ooh, tell me.
So he was initially skeptical of coffee.
Like, suspicious?
Yeah, he called it the devil's drink.
Oh, my.
But then the story goes he actually tried it and declared it too delicious for infidels.
Ah, what a change of heart.
Right. It just goes to show you,
Yeah.
coffee was winning over even its harshest critics.
It's awesome.
But the pushback, it didn't end there.
Oh, no.
Wikipedia tells us that Charles II actually tried to ban coffee houses in England.
Really?
Apparently, he saw them as too subversive.
What does that even mean?
Like all that free thinking and debate, it
Yeah.
was making the powers that be a little nervous.
Oh, interesting.
It's amazing how a simple gathering place, fueled by coffee,
Right?
could be seen as a threat to the established order.
Wow, that's wild.
It just goes to show you how powerful ideas and the spaces where they're shared can be.
Absolutely.
It makes you wonder what Charles II would think of today's online forums
Oh, yeah.
and social media. Right.
Totally.
But as we all know, you can't stop a good idea
Oh.
or a good cup of coffee for that matter.
For sure.
So while Charles II might have tried to ban coffee houses,
Mm-hmm.
those efforts ultimately failed.
Good.
And that failure, it speaks volumes about the anxieties at the time.
I see what you mean.
Coffee unwittingly became the symbol of resistance,
Right.
a challenge to the status quo.
Interesting.
But its journey was far from over.
Oh.
Next, we'll explore how coffee made its way across the Atlantic,
Right.
transforming the Americas and leaving a lasting impact on the world.
Let's go. So coffee has conquered Europe,
Right.
but its journey,
Yeah.
it doesn't stop there.
No, it doesn't.
Our sources tell us about how coffee made its way to the Americas.
Oh, yeah.
And it's a tale full of adventure,
Yeah.
dedication,
Oh,
and even a little bit of scandal, too.
I like where this is going.
Yeah, so this is where the story of Gabriel Declue comes in.
Who's that?
He was a French naval officer,
Okay.
and in 1720,
Mm-hmm.
he set sail with this mission to bring coffee to Martinique.
Wow. That's a pretty important mission.
Right, but this wasn't just like any ordinary voyage.
What do you mean?
According to Wikipedia, Declue faced pirates, storms,
Oh, no.
and even a jealous passenger who tried to sabotage the precious coffee seedlings he was transporting.
Oh, my gosh. Can you imagine the pressure?
Right?
This guy is basically carrying the future of coffee in the Americas on his ship.
I know. And get this,
What?
during a really rough part of the voyage, Declue actually shared his own water rations with the seedlings,
Really?
just to keep them alive.
Wow. Talk about dedication.
Right?
That puts into perspective how valuable those tiny seedlings were.
Exactly. And all that effort,
Yeah.
it paid off.
Did it?
Yeah, coffee thrived in Martinique
Nice.
within 50 years.
Okay.
The island was home to thousands of coffee trees.
Wow. From those few little seedlings.
I know, it's amazing.
So from Martinique,
Mhm.
coffee cultivation spread throughout the Caribbean, right?
Right. And one island in particular,
Which ones?
Saint Domingue, which we now know as Haiti,
Okay.
it became a major coffee powerhouse.
How major are we talking?
By 1788, Saint Domingue was supplying half the world's coffee.
Whoa, half. That's incredible.
Right.
But this success, it was built on a very dark chapter in history, wasn't it?
Yeah, unfortunately.
Tell me about it.
So the coffee plantations of Saint Domingue,
Okay.
they relied heavily on the brutal system of African slave labor.
Right.
The conditions were horrific.
Yeah, that's terrible.
And this exploitation played a significant role in the Haitian Revolution.
The fight against slavery.
Exactly, a landmark event.
It's a stark reminder that the history of coffee, like so many global commodities, is intertwined with colonialism and oppression.
It is.
So the Haitian coffee industry, it never really fully recovered from the revolution, did it?
No, it didn't.
But coffee's journey in the Americas? It wasn't over?
No, not at all. This is where our story takes us to Brazil.
Okay, Brazil.
And it involves this character named Francisco de Melo Paleta.
Okay, what did he do?
Now, the French were very protective of their coffee industry. So getting those precious beans to Brazil, it was no easy feat.
I bet.
But Paleta, he had a plan.
Okay, what was it?
It involved, well, a little charm and maybe even a bit of scandal.
Ooh, tell me more.
So he was sent to French Guiana with a mission to obtain coffee seeds.
Makes sense.
But the French were reluctant to share.
Oh, no.
So what did Paleta do?
I don't know. What?
He charmed the governor's wife.
No way.
Yes. And according to some sources, she gifted him a farewell bouquet.
A bouquet?
With coffee seedlings hidden amongst the flowers.
Talk about a sneaky way to start a coffee empire.
Right. And those smuggled seeds, they took root in Brazil, both literally and figuratively.
Right.
By 1852, Brazil was the world's top coffee producer.
Wow.
A title it still holds today.
That's amazing how a few smuggled seeds could lead to such a massive shift in the global coffee landscape.
It is, but coffee's journey wasn't limited to the Western Hemisphere.
Oh, where else did it go?
It was also making its way across Asia,
sparking
these unique coffee cultures along the way.
Oh, I want to hear about that.
Yeah, and just like in previous chapters, there's no shortage of fascinating stories and quirky details here.
I'm ready.
Take India, for example.
Okay, India.
Wikipedia tells us about Baba Budan.
Who's that?
He was a 17th century Sufi saint.
Okay.
Who, during his pilgrimage to Mecca, decided to bring back a very special souvenir.
What was it?
Coffee beans.
Oh, wow.
7 beans, to be exact.
Okay.
He snuck them back to India, hidden in his beard.
In his beard. That's a very special souvenir.
Right. And those 7 beans became the foundation of India's coffee industry.
Wow, imagine that. The entire coffee culture of a nation stemming from a handful of beans tucked away in a beard.
It's incredible.
And that legacy, it lives on today, right?
Yeah, it does.
Not just in the thriving coffee plantations of India, but also in the language.
What do you mean?
In South India, coffee is still called kapi.
Oh, wow.
It shows you how deeply embedded coffee is in the culture.
That's so cool. And speaking of unique coffee cultures, Japan's story is equally fascinating.
Oh, I've heard about Japanese coffee. Tell me about it.
Imagine stepping into a traditional Japanese coffee house, or kisaten as they're called.
Kisaten.
Yeah. These are places where time seems to slow down.
Okay.
Where the focus is on savoring a meticulously brewed cup of coffee.
I like that.
In this tranquil atmosphere.
It sounds like the perfect antidote to our fast-paced, grab-and-go coffee culture.
It really does.
But even in Japan, things evolved, didn't they?
They did.
Wikipedia mentions how the introduction of instant coffee and canned coffee in the late 20th century, it really revolutionized coffee consumption.
It did. Suddenly, coffee was accessible anywhere, anytime.
That's so convenient.
And this led to Japan becoming one of the leading coffee consumers in the world.
Wow.
It's a testament to how innovation can reshape an entire industry.
It really is, but Japan's story, it isn't the only one full of twists and turns.
You're right. South Korea's coffee history is this tale of contrasts.
Oh, tell me about it.
It begins with coffee being a drink reserved for royalty.
Royalty.
Yeah. Emperor Sunjong and Gojong.
I've never heard of them.
They enjoyed coffee after their Western-style banquets in the late 19th century.
Fancy.
It was a symbol of prestige and exclusivity.
Wow.
But then, in the 1950s, American GIS introduced coffee to the wider Korean population.
Okay.
And coffee shops known as dabang.
Dabang.
Yeah, they started popping up everywhere.
What were they like?
Think of these dabang as more than just coffee shops.
Okay.
They were community centers, places for political discussion, even matchmaking.
Really? All in one.
It's amazing how coffee could bring people together in such diverse ways.
It really is.
But just like those penny universities in Europe,
the
dabang eventually began to decline.
Oh, no.
And in their place, we saw the rise of familiar global coffee chains.
Like the ones we see today. It's a reminder that even as coffee cultures evolve and adapt, some things remain constant.
What that?
The desire for connection, a sense of community.
Makes sense.
And of course, for a good cup of coffee.
Of course, speaking of good coffee,
Yeah.
we can't forget Indonesia.
Oh.
After all, this is where the name Java for coffee comes from.
That's right. I always forget that.
The Dutch, during their colonial period, they turned Indonesia into this coffee-producing powerhouse.
Wow.
And those Indonesian beans, they traveled the world.
Really?
Influencing coffee preferences for centuries.
That's amazing. And lastly, let's not forget the Philippines.
The Philippines.
Yeah, one of the few countries in the world that grows all 4 major coffee varieties.
Really? All 4?
Arabica, Liberica, Excelsa, and Robusta.
Wow, that's impressive.
Right.
Yeah.
It's a testament to the diverse climates and landscapes of the Philippines.
Makes sense.
And it means that coffee lovers have a wider variety of flavors to explore.
I love that.
So we've seen how coffee has woven its way through history.
Yeah.
From its humble beginnings in Ethiopia to its global domination.
Right.
But as we look to the future, there are some challenges brewing.
Like what? It's a sobering thought, isn't it?
It is.
That our daily cup of coffee is connected to these global issues.
Yeah.
The historyofcoffee.pdf and the website for World Coffee Research.
Okay.
They both highlight the challenges faced by the coffee industry.
What kind of challenges?
Well, like climate change impacting crop yields.
Right.
And the economic struggles of farmers.
Yeah, it makes you realize there's a whole world behind that seemingly simple cup of coffee.
Right.
But it's not all doom and gloom, is it?
No, not at all.
There are people and organizations working hard to find solutions.
Exactly. World Coffee Research, for example. They're doing some amazing work.
What are they doing?
Well, they're developing new coffee varieties.
Okay.
That are more resistant to climate change and pests. And they're also promoting sustainable farming practices.
So better for the environment.
And the farmers' livelihoods.
That's really encouraging to hear.
It is.
It sounds like they're really trying to address these challenges head on.
Yeah.
So we can continue to enjoy coffee for generations to come.
For sure.
So we've covered a lot of ground today.
Yeah.
From those curious goats in Ethiopia to the global challenges facing the coffee industry today.
It's been a journey.
What does it all mean for us as coffee drinkers?
Well, I think knowing this history, it gives us a deeper appreciation for what's in our cup.
Okay.
It's not just a drink, you know.
Yeah.
It's a story that connects us to cultures, economies, and struggles across the globe.
It's almost like each sip is a tiny time capsule.
I like that.
Carrying with it centuries of history, innovation, and human connection.
Exactly. And it makes you think, doesn't it? Knowing all of this, does it change how you feel about your next cup of coffee?
Good question.
Is it just a caffeine fix?
Yeah.
Or is it something more?
That's something for our listeners to think about.
Definitely.
And maybe, just maybe, knowing this history, it will inspire us all to be more mindful. About the coffee we choose, the impact it has, and the role we can play in ensuring a sustainable future for this beloved beverage.
Absolutely.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into the world of coffee.
It's been fun.
Until next time, happy caffeinating.
Cheers to that.